I ain't gonna lie, her character in the first one was cool, but when they turned her character into the Black Panther,
right.
it lost me. Like when she went to college and they had all the stuff and they came and got her like, oh, you have to be Black Panther. I said, oh, this is already terrible. This is already terrible. Then the underwater people come up and whoop everybody ass. They somehow stronger.
I actually like the water people.
I did. Ever since we started paying attention to politics, when I watch a new show or a movie, I can realize how political everything is.
Yeah.
Like it's like insane. Like how my eyes have been opened.
This one really bums me out because I think conservatives, people on the right, never did enough to defend what was good, but they did a whole lot to complain about what was bad.
Oh, for sure.
So the easiest reference is Marvel, because Marvel in the 2010s, every movie was $1 billion. And that's like unheard of. I just watched the iRobot the other day. That movie's really good.
It is.
Yeah. Will Smith?
Yeah.
Classic.
He's so good in that movie. And it was a $100 million budget, made $300 million, and that was a smash hit. Now they do like a $100 million Marvel, it makes $1 billion, $2 billion.
Yeah.
But the first Captain America movie, it's like a conservative dream. It's about a guy who's trying to lie his way into the army to serve his country.
Yeah.
And we didn't get a bunch of videos of conservatives being like, this is the best movie, this is the message we want for our kids. The second Captain America is where he realizes that the government is corrupt and been infiltrated by evil people who are going to weaponize the power of government, and he goes against them. Another really important message in what it means to be an American. It's the revolution of this country, the founding documents, standing up for the people, and things like that. Conservatives didn't come out and be like, what a great message. And the communists were bad. Basically, like Winter Soldier was a remnant of the communists.
Right.
Yeah.
The Red Man.
But then what ends up happening is the woke activists get into Marvel, and you can see it happen right after Infinity War. From Infinity War, after that, they made Captain Marvel. I think Captain Marvel came after that.
How they did Thor. They made Thor weak.
They made Thor weak and fat.
They had the
Yeah.
rainbows and
Yep.
Love and Thunder.
Oh, that
I
was
was so pissed off about that. I loved Thor. And I saw the last one. I said,
I couldn't
like-
believe that.
no, when they made
This flipping of what happened in this decade-long, multi-billion-dollar franchise, and then seemingly within a span of like a year, you can see when the woke leftist activists came in, Thor got fat. They made the Thor where Jane becomes Thor, and everyone's like, "What is Captain Marvel?" Like, let me just say this because I love ragging on it. Captain America. It's like 2010 or whatever, and they made this movie. He's a scrawny guy who tries lying his way to join the army because he wants to serve his country desperately. He jumps on the grenade. He's a hero. He's granted powers. And I'm like, hey, man, that's like a very pro-America message. Like, serve your country, right? Captain Marvel's story was she accidentally becomes super powerful with like godlike powers. And then a man, Jude Law, puts an inhibitor on her that suppresses her powers. And then he keeps telling her, control your emotions.
Yeah.
The end of the movie
That's crazy.
for Captain America is he sacrifices himself to defeat Hydra, the Nazis, and he gets frozen and he loses the love of his life. The end of Captain Marvel is she overcomes the man who is holding her back, embraces her emotions, breaks the inhibitor chip, and defeats him. There's no big, grandiose finale. It's not like she saves the universe. She literally just beats her commanding officer, who's a man, telling her to suppress her emotions. And I'm like, it made $1 billion because people liked Marvel, but after that, everything started tanking. So, like, at the time when this was going on, I was trying to be like, no, like, I like this. Like, I like Marvel. And then after a few movies, I was like, I don't want to ever watch one of these again.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I loved Marvel until like
Disney
I
went
didn't
too
realize
woke.
you broke it down perfectly of like when it happened. Cause I didn't in my brain I couldn't realize when it happened because I grew up watching them. You know, I remember going to the theaters and like now I'm grown. I'm like, damn, they so woke. When? But I wasn't political, so I didn't know.
Facts, because
Elon just exposed that though, like with the tweet, how Twitter was before and then how Twitter is now.
Oh,
when he had all the
that-
picture with all the
yeah.
girls and then the
Yeah.
picture with the
No.
men.
Yeah.
That's what it is, pretty
No,
much.
facts. I'm glad you pointed out how woke Marvel went because I really love the first Black Panther. That's probably my favorite
me
Marvel
too.
movie.
I thought it was
I
great.
was like, not even like, oh, this is a Black representation movie. Just like the movie, the soundtrack.
It was
I remember
good.
we
Everybody
saw,
loved
we saw
it.
it in 3D in
Yeah.
Colorado.
I saw it 2-3
twice.
times, yeah.
No, it was so good. The second one, I was irate. and
I was so mad.
I was
Wait.
sitting by my mom. I was talking in the theater. I kept saying stuff out loud. My mom was like, "You have to be."
Is that the
quiet."
one with the Hispanic with the
Yes.
Yeah.
Bro,
His
I
sister
like
was
that
Black
one.
Panther.
No,
bro.
is it that
Oh my
bad? It
God.
wasn't that bad.
That movie
He was a
was
good
abs-
villain.
that
He was a
movie
great
was-
villain.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful
So
to me.
let me tell you about the first Black Panther. The woke people went nuts loving it. They called it a diverse movie.
Yeah.
Despite like 90% of the actors in it are black. And I'm like, yo, it's not diverse. I got no problem with it being Black Panther with black characters. I thought it was really good. And a lot of people on the right didn't like it. They're like, no, it was terrible. I'm like, no, it was really good.
It's a great movie.
The politics of it is T'Challa Black Panther wants closed borders. He says we're not letting refugees in because they bring their problems. He literally says
Stop
in the
funding.
movie, he says if we open our borders to the refugees, they're going to bring their problems into our country with them. He was like very Trumpian, and it was from the perspective of an African nation. Then Killmonger is basically like we should arm all of the black people and have them rise up and take control. He was an ethno-nationalist. And I'm like, the politics of the first one was actually pretty good.
No, actually,
I didn't notice that. I didn't notice
That's
that.
exactly how it was.
That's exactly what it was. And then, because in the
no
movie,
globalist.
it was a bunch of nations, like, it was a bunch of different nations. Like, remember when he got all the leaders, he rose them up, he had to go get them. There's a bunch of different nations inside Wakanda, and they was all like their own thing, but they knew T'Challa was the supreme leader. And Killmonger pulled up, whooped his ass. He was like, yeah, this is my shit now. I was like, man, this is hard. Great movie.
Bro,
So, would y'all consider it like him dying and giving it to his sister? Is that
I
woke?
hated that as well. That was woke.
wait,
Why
wait.
is she a girl? Am I hating?
Shuri is a cool character,
I might be
but
hating.
having her be Black Panther was like,
Okay.
No, yeah,
they
that was a
could-
flop. She was a bad Black Panther. She got whooped. And her mama died. Everybody died under her.
It wasn't that.
Yeah.
No, literally, Wakanda
She
literally
wasn't that
failed
main
under
of
her.
a character in the first one to be the main character in the
Exactly.
second one.
No,
I thought they
I-
could have chose.
So
maybe
that's woke.
Michael B. Like
Well,
he done turned and he with them now. You know, that's what I was thinking.
I thought I ain't gonna lie. Her character in the first one was cool, but when they turned her character into the Black Panther,
Right.
it lost me. Like when she went to college and they had all the stuff, and they came and got her like, "Oh, you have to be Black Panther." I said, "Oh, this is already terrible. This is already terrible." Then the underwater people come up and whoop everybody ass. They somehow stronger.
I actually like the water
wait, wait,
people.
wait.
I said, what the hell is
Let me
this?
tell you about wokeness. All right, the first thing is they could have brought back any one of the strong male characters to take the mantle of Black Panther. Like there were people challenging T'Challa to be the Black Panther, but they wanted the woman to do it.
Okay.
And so,
Flop.
right, like just because they did that isn't inherently like the apocalypse. There's ways to salvage that, but I'll tell you, the problem I have with when woke people take over is that, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. Woke people are super racist.
Yeah.
You guys have seen the video of voter ID where
Yeah.
Amy Horowitz asks them, and all the college white kids are like, all about black people. Oh, they can't find the DMV. And it's insane, right?
It's
get
absolutely
no
absurd because
ID.
it's crazy because
But here, real quick, here's what happens with the second Black Panther. Okay, who's the bad guy? Namor, whatever, his name Namor, right? How do they get in to Wakanda?
from the water.
Water.
Under the river, right?
Yeah.
So the Mexicans come through the river to illegally enter.
Oh my God.
And so I'm watching this movie, and literally a bunch of Mexicans. Dude, I'm not trying to be mean.
No, that's what happened. That's a fact.
And then
You shouldn't have to say that.
and then
Even Dr. Umar said, he said, the underwater Mexicans came and zipped all the Africans. That's literally what he said. I said, Dr. Umar, you literally summarized it perfectly.
I didn't think about it.
When I watched it, I said, this is ridiculous.
it gets crazier. So in the beginning, the whatever they're called, they're Mexicans that live underwater. They they come through the river and up through the barrier of Wakanda, as if like Wakanda can't secure the water or whatever. And then they're like, how did they get in? I can't believe they entered Wakanda through our barriers and our Great Wall or whatever.
They drowned.
They show how Wakanda opens the barrier. Okay, in Infinity War, which is before the second Black Panther, when they're like, open the barrier, like, so you got the aliens attacking the force field, and they're like, if the aliens break through the barrier on behind us, we're screwed. And then T'Challa says, open section 7 or whatever. So Shuri hits a button and it opens up. The aliens all rush through and they fight them in a single file line.
Yeah.
In the second Black Panther, how do they open the barrier? Black men are banging on bongo drums.
Okay.
That I'm like,
They changed how
they changed it, and I feel like it was like some racist version of
Yeah.
like, if black people have computers, they bang drums. Just press a button, dude.
That's a good observation.
Those are great observations.
Facts.
But that gets crazier. It gets crazier.
Very astute.
How does Shuri defeat the Namor?
She cut his ankle, didn't she?
Well,
They're fighting on
on the
the water.
beach. They're on the beach
He
fighting.
let it ride.
he has wings on his feet.
Yeah, she cut
He's
his
Sicilian.
ankle,
He
yeah.
gets hurt, but that's not how she beats him. It turns out they discover that the underwater Mexicans, God, I'm not trying to be crass when I say this is literally what the movie's about, that when their skin is wet, it allows him to oxidize air, making him stronger. I could not believe it watching this movie. She defeats him by drying off his back.
Oh yeah, I remember.
He's standing in front of the ship, and she presses
That's
the button,
crazy.
and it blasts his back, and you see steam coming off. So the Mexican's back was wet, which made him stronger. And when she blasts him with fire, and the steam comes off, he falls down weak and unable to fight. I was like, who the made this movie, dude.
That is insane, but that
Hey,
is
they
true.
are so
I never
sneaky.
peeped that
They are
though.
so sneaky,
That
bro.
is crazy.
They are sneaky.
No, you want to know what's crazy? You want to know what's crazy?
And that goes back to
You
what
know
you
what's
were
crazy?
saying. We're gonna trigger
I
them.
want to know another thing that you pointed out. The underwater Mexicans came in through the dam and they drowned all the people.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking the whole time. I was like,
I said,
you know,
this
black
shit
people
is
can't swim,
horrible.
so let's fight them on
Like,
the water.
That made me so mad. I was like, wait, did they just drown everybody? They literally came in and filled the dome up with water. They had to open the dome because it was gonna fill and everybody
Like,
was
dude,
drowning.
everything
It is
about that
ridiculous.
movie was racist stereotypes.
No, that was
Wow.
insane.
I didn't realize
Wild.
that.
Me either.
I didn't
No,
even.
and then they put all the people in Wakanda on a ship, and the underwater Mexicans just pulled them off the ship into the
Yeah.
water, and they was
Well,
dying.
they couldn't swim.
Yeah, they
They
was just
couldn't
going in the
swim.
water.
Black people can't swim.
Oh, I was like, this is ridiculous. That's why I hated that movie. I thought that
So
was
Captain America though, so him handing the black guy the shield, that's pretty woke.
I have no problem with that.
No, I mean,
Huh. Like, so like this is the thing. The left, like the woke people, will try and claim that the right is mad that Sam Wilson inherits the shield, and I'm like, why? Because he's black? I don't care. It's like Falcon's an awesome character.
He is.
Yeah, he is.
So they don't like, and this is what I'm saying. When Captain America meets Sam Wilson, it's this really great scene in the second Captain America where they're jogging and Captain America keeps running.
Yeah, I remember
past
that.
him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "No, you don't." And he tries running after him. Like, who cares? Like,
Yeah.
that the criticism is not that Sam Wilson is a black guy or that he inherits the shield. It is kind of sad that, like, you know, Chris Evans retires from the role or whatever.
Yeah.
But the problem is the racism is like Wakanda Forever, the movie, making sure. Look, the character of Shuri she's a genius, robotic technician, and she's super smart. Totally fine. There's literally nothing wrong with that. Trying to make her Black Panther.
That's
It's
not
like,
what her job was.
because they want a woman,
In
you know, they're.
head, yeah,
Yeah.
strong
check-
black woman.
So this is the other thing they did with
Man
Ant-Man.
died under her.
That's right. You have Ant-Man. That movie comes out. Everybody loves it. Paul Rudd's hilarious. It's kind of like a comedy. They tried making the second film, The Wasp and Ant-Man. And look at the cover. Evangeline Lilly, the woman, is facing forward and he's behind her looking over his shoulder. That's when they started really trying to be like, no male heroes, no white heroes. And they were trying to be like,
They had the 3-movie run with the women. They had Captain Marvel, they had Black Widow, and there was another one. Maybe it was the Ant-Man, the Wasp one.
might have been. Yeah,
It was
well,
a 3-movie run. It was 3 women movies.
the Black Widow was not that good, and it's like nobody even remembers it. But
don't.
Scarlett Johansson should have got a movie a long time ago. She's like the highest paid actress in the world. She's an
been
amazing.
in Marvel too since the first
Right.
Iron Man's.
And so people were like, it's sexist. They never gave her a movie because she's a superstar, and why didn't she have it? And I'm like, I don't know that I would say it's like sexist or whatever, but I do think they would have made $1 billion if they made a Black Widow movie in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because everybody likes Scarlett Johansson.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, like,
New Blade.
yeah. Apparently they're making a new Blade.
Wesley's in it. Yeah, Wesley Snipes is in it with the new actor. It's
I'm
Shayla
excited.
Ali, isn't
Yeah.
it? They got pushed back like twice. They pushed
Yeah.
it back like twice now.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Culture War podcast. We're live every Friday, 10 a.m. to noon. So subscribe and come hang out.